Hi there, welcome to the Tomb of Illumination. Today we're going to try and explain, or I'm going to try and explain in the flat earth system how Jupiter goes over the horizon, which is what it's doing at this time of the year. So it's a good time to try and explain it, being near the equinox where things are 50-50 in the earthly seasonal changes. So this is really tricky, but I'm trying to show people why the sun is quicker than everything else. I've already shown several other examples, but I'm going to give it another go now, okay? So just try and follow me, and I'm going to try and explain it clearly. So I've drawn the picture here of the Northern Hemisphere. So you've got the tropical gap out here, and then you've got the Southern Hemisphere, the one that rolls around the central Northern Hemisphere. So this is basically the image all flat earthers seem to be putting on YouTube, which is total BS because it's only one image, it's only the Northern Hemisphere. They just show you this one plane. They've got no idea what's actually happening unless they follow what I've been showing. But anyway, it all comes out of the centre Arctic anyway, and the whole Northern Hemisphere is what comes out of the centre Arctic. Spirals out like this. Okay? It's the toroidal field. The southern field is a mirror image. So we're just going to concentrate on the Northern Hemisphere, okay, to explain how all this works. So at this time of the year, there's the dividing line between night and day. So we take this as day. Now the sun's back in here, in the centre, obviously not the scale. The sun makes it look like a head on the black hole, which gives it the overall egg shape. Plenty of videos on that. So the sun always shines across the black hole. So if that's the dividing line, then the sun will be perpendicular, pointing this way. Okay, so currently in the west we have Jupiter going down over the horizon. So what we need to do is freeze frame this, freeze it there, showing the dividing line between day and night and Jupiter right there. Now the sun's quicker, so if we just jump because the sun moves around the hole, the horizon of the hole. The changing magnetic field of the two systems creates their moving electrical, which is the sun, and this moving electrical current creates a changing magnetic field. That's how it works. They know all about this in electrical engineering, etc. So, and the sun's quicker because it's on the inside track. The horse out here is never going to beat the horse that's on the inside track unless it's flipping lame. So it's always quickest, and that's where all the energy is. The energy all comes out of the centre. Earth spirals out. The toroidal field spirals out from the centre hyperboloid. That's what a torus field is. It has a central hyperboloid. All the energy comes out of that hyperboloid. So obviously by the time the energy gets out here, it's a lot weaker, isn't it? Anyway, back to the sun. So the sun's quicker than the planet. So we jump the sun forward because it's quicker than the planet. We'll leave the planet there. Then if you jump it forward a little bit more, we have to start imagining, well, obviously this is going to tilt the dividing line because the sun is perpendicular to this dividing line at all times. Right? Day and night. So as the sun goes round, the dividing line will go round. So we see Jupiter going down on the horizon, but each day, every 4 minutes, the sun, our 24-hour day is crept ahead 4 minutes. Okay? In the seasonal change. 4 minutes every day. So the planet stays there, but the sun has moved around 4 minutes. So this this plane has moved around 4 minutes. But it's gone out of our hemisphere, say, if we just consider two hemispheres here, it's gone over our horizon, right? So you've got to realise, as this is moving, the planet's moving too, but slower. And as this is moving, obviously the sun's coming around, catching up, getting closer to Jupiter. So this is how it ends up. We lose Jupiter in the light of the sun. I mean, they tell you this in science. It's going to be hidden behind the sun, they say, in the light of the sun, behind the sun. Nothing can go behind the sun. Behind the sun is night time. That's the Milky Way we see, Sagittarius A. That's behind the sun. We see all the stars at night. It's in front of the sun. Because the sun is coming around and it buries it like that. It's aiming into Jupiter, losing it for so many weeks. And then the sun moves on and it gets exposed again. Weeks or days, whatever it is. I haven't worked on that one. So that's basically how it works. So it's gone over our horizon. So I see it go down in the west. So people just aren't thinking like this. They just assume that the sun's the slowest and the planets and stars are quicker because they get told that. And that's all rubbish. The human brain's just not working properly. I know all this. It's all written. The ancient philosophy, everything. It's all in there. But no one can see it. I've only guys figured it out. So that's how you have to understand it. I mean, it's hard. You've got to really think. But I mean, just drawing this picture here, you've obviously got east, because everything's spiraling this way, right? So if it's coming out, it's coming from the east, settling in the west. But then you've got to think of the daylight now. If it's coming out of here, it's east to west here. So you've got to have a mind to think. If you're really interested in the flat earth model, you have to think. So this dividing line's always moving, so is the sun. The sun's there, the sun shining around this hole like this. So if that's moving, so is Jupiter, but a little bit less. So the sun's there, Jupiter's there, sun's there. Well, obviously the sun's going to race around here and bury it. But you've got this whole half here to bury it. It's easy. As soon as that tilts a little bit, you've lost this in the daylight, haven't you? But at the same time, before that, we do see it moving that way because everything moves that way. Right? Everything is moving that way. So you're going to see it heading towards the western horizon. But you've got to realise the sun is going to catch up and bury it. It's going to keep going around here, but the sun's going to be gaining on it. So we lose it. That's simple, but difficult. It's a bit like in Plato. It said it is simple. Something like it is simple, but it's once you understand it. But it's getting there, understanding it is the tricky part. It takes a bit of thought. And what have we got here? We're freeze frame the image. If we jump the sun forward because it is faster than Jupiter, so that's what we did. We jumped that forward and leave it there, say, because it is quicker than Jupiter. You're basically going like that. Then if we jump the sun forward again, we then see that the sun is gaining on Jupiter, which is bringing Jupiter into the light of the sun, to be lost in the sun's light, until the sun moves on past Jupiter. Nothing can go behind the sun and be lost in the light of the sun. LOL. Very funny. It has to be in front of the sun as the sun passes over it. but not literally. Only the sun's bright light hides the planet behind the sun. Full stop. Behind the sun or the back of the sun is night time. We will see the planet at night. Okay? Got to realise that the sun, so that there's the Milky Way, holds there, there's the sun, tucked into the Milky Way. It comes out like that. We don't see the Milky Way on the light side, do we? We're not going to see all these stars on the sunshine side. But we see all the stars out here because this is night time. It's the back of the sun. That's Sagittarius A, they try to tell us. And it's just the back of the sun. So the sun is actually slipping ahead inside the Milky Way as well. Because the sun's dead centre when the black hole is, so the sun's there, the black hole, I'll have to draw it like that, it's inside as well. Let's not get too confused. I just done a video that the black hole's not in the Milky Way, it's the end of the Milky Way, so let's not go there, but anyway. So all the energy is in the centre of the black hole, so the sun is on the horizon, so it's got more energy than the stars and everything around the Milky Way, so it slips in the Milky Way. That's the precession of the equinoxes. What have we got here? The sun is always perpendicular to the dividing line of day and night, but we have to consider the fluctuations of the ecliptic plane down and out or up and in during the seasonal changes. It goes down and out, up and in. But it's a good time to be looking at this now because it's the equinox, 50-50, and Jupiter going down over the horizon. But all is equal at present at the March equinox. Okay? Should we run over that again? The dividing line, the sun's quicker, it's going to race ahead of Jupiter. See Jupiter there? So that means the sun's gaining on Jupiter. But at the same time Jupiter's moving around. Okay, so it's not going into night time. It just, from someone's perspective, when he sees it going over the horizon, they think it's going to be drifting into the night or something, I don't know. But it's just going outside your horizon and outside of your time zone. Okay? But we all see it doing the same thing. Because we're all on the same flipping plane, aren't we? As the sun moves around like this. Catching up. Bearing. Comes around, catches it, buries it. See, now you get 50-50, all daylight here, all night time over there. Another thing that is to consider is you've got all night time, it's all dark. That's the base of creation. Then you've got the sun here, moving over it. So it works like subduction, which is basically how the Earth works too. It's another subduction system, there's three of them. So as the sun comes around this way, night time is going under like this. So as the sun goes around, the moon and the stars are all going that way, aren't they? It's like this. That's how Earth works, because above Earth, if the sky, the whole toroidal field is moving that way, Earth's subduction moves in the opposite direction. This is why we get magnetic north moving to the east, because above Earth it's moving west. So if it's moving like this, if you can imagine it, then the magnetic field is going to be wandering east. Magnetic north starts wandering this way. Well, probably the opposite way to this drawing. So I've got this, depending on how you look at this drawing. Okay, it's the opposite direction to the moving toroidal field. You understand that? It's dual system. I mean, they're all moving in the same direction. I mean, they're all going that way, but because the sun's quicker, it makes us look like this is going backwards. This is the overlay. We go back to SETI 1, Abydos, the overlays. The, what do you call them? The not the hieroglyphs, oh, what's the word? Can't think of it. The reliefs. The reliefs. There was initially one relief, then they put another one over it, which gave it the helicopter look and all those other, like a submarine or a boat. It's the message we're not getting. I've got it. The overlay. Also, there's an overlay in the. You know, you also have to draw the Milky Way in here, because that's where the sun is, in the Milky Way. The Milky Way is a separate entity to the rest of the sky. They don't tell you that. They try to tell you we all live in the Milky Way. No, we do not live in the Milky Way. You can see the Milky Way pass over the sky at night. We'll get into that while we're here. A bit of spare time. As I've drawn before, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. We've got Orion's belt, say, right there. Orion's belt this way. This is a dead giveaway for showing you the arc of your horizon. And they can always just say it's going over the ball, but that's your arc of your horizon. The Milky Way is aimed at this, the end of it is towards the Orion's belt. That's one end of it. The other end comes out of here. This is south. In the north, you got north here, and it spirals out and goes around like that. That's how the Milky Way moves. This, and this turns like this. It'll be coming around here initially to start with. We hardly see it. You'll see it popping over the eastern horizon. Starts following Orion's belt all the way over here. It'll get right around here and it'll look like this before it completely goes all the way around where you don't see it anymore. It's outside of your arc of horizon. It's gone on the other side of the... Well, it's not the other side of the earth, it's the day side. It gets lost in the day side. It just continuously goes around like this. And when you look at that, it's part of the toroidal field, isn't it? Look at it. Look at that. It's just the way it works. Anybody can go outside and film this or watch it by your eyesight. Just go out every 2 hours, or say 3 hours, see where it is. You'll see it there. You don't see this part back in there. You only sort of see this part here. You don't see it curling in here because that's the day side. It's the day part of Earth. Basically looking at it like that, your nighttime view. Be like this, like that, like that, like that. It can't be debunked. Anyone can go out and do it, okay? Well, that's all. Leave it there, guys. Give us a likes up. Share this like anything, because I'm really restricted in getting my information out. It's not going anywhere. I mean, the more people are interested, the more people I get, the less subscribers and the less it's getting out. It's just weird, isn't it? Cheers, guys.